So I've gotten to watch Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, and as a fan, I have quite high expectations, to put it bluntly. And also, it's shattering box office records when it comes to anime, so it's a pretty high bar. And this is a non-spoiler review. So I'll start with the animation because honestly, that was next level. I mean, I've seen some really good ones recently, as well as some sloppy ones, because you get studios underpaying people, trying to get them to do it too quickly, the animators. But this was how I imagined it would be. I started watching anime about 2000-ish, I think, maybe late 90s, but let's say early noughties. And when you go, oh, what will it look like in the future? This is exactly what I imagined. I didn't even know how to put it into words before. I'm like, this. And the audio, oh my God, you want to watch this in the cinema if you can. If not, watching it at home, it'll still be really great. The score's good, but the audio experience of the cinema is a big part of why you go for it, as well as the massive screen. So it's just a great experience watching this all around. As I said, it's been breaking records for a reason. And in typical anime fashion, you get more and more intense fighting as the movie goes on. The stakes get raised, the toughness level goes up. You think about Dragon Ball Z, right? That's probably the first anime I watched, I'm pretty sure. And they keep getting different colored hair. It just keeps going up and up and up and up. So we go from golden to blue to aquamarine to everything in between. And that's the way anime is. That's the way it does it. And this does it perfectly. There's loads of anime tropes as well. So if you're a fan of anime, it's going to be exactly how you imagine it being. If you're not, I still think it's fine. I think to a Western audience, if you're not used to it, I don't think anything they've done here is like egregiously offensive or so different. You're like, oh my God, this is weird. Yeah, it might be a little bit weird to you, but I mean, you've got, say, for example, a narrator in a Western film, right? You'd have one person, one character that will be doing the narrating. Well, you get everyone in anime because everybody has a voice, everyone has a mind. It's quite good equality, really. However, it does work well. Sometimes it goes a bit over the top, and there's not only one narrator. It can only make me think of it because of anime generally, but sometimes it's like, it could do with more. It just depends really on what it's calling for. We don't Look, if we all just watched Hollywood, it would get a bit dull with the tropes and everything, wouldn't it? And that's the way I look at it. But even things like the swords clashing, just the way that the fights sound, look, feel, it's done really, really well. And as I said, the intensity they do it with as it goes up, they've done that really well. I can't put my finger on it quite. Some of the stuff they've done in terms of the feeling and the sounds that make it sound more intense. I can see it, I can feel it, but they did a brilliant job with this as they go through. And it's not just that, the character development's really good. You've got the narrator stuff, as I said, we've got multiple people narrating the story, or from their viewpoint. You will be left in no doubt as to their motivations, which is, again, a good thing. I mean, they gave a huge chunk of this movie to the backstory of the villain. Now, that was good in the sense of at first you just were like, hey, guess what? I just want this guy to die and just have it over and done with. Well, maybe movie, but you want the villain to just be finished. Well, you watch this and you're like, still rooting for the good guys, they've done that job, haven't blurred it too much, but, I can see more where he's coming from now, his backstory. Maybe it went on a bit too long though, to be honest. That would be a criticism. I thought it was a little bit lengthy, but I'm like, am I nitpicking? Sometimes when I go into a movie, I try not to have my review reaction hat on too much, because it's like, you can just overthink things quite easily, but that was kind of my thoughts. And I do want to emphasize that this movie is not just fighting. I've mentioned character development, but you do get a lot of time to breathe in between, because at 2 hours 30, I was a little bit worried, if I'm being honest, that it was going to drag on a bit. I thought 2 hours probably was enough time. Oh, they took every second and kept it exciting, which is impressive from a storytelling perspective, because it can be quite difficult, especially when you've got, and it does have a lot of fighting in it, but you needed this amount of time to tell the story as well as have the, I mean, the story's told within the fighting, but you needed the fighting and the character development to have its time to breathe so we could understand their motivations. And you will understand, even if you've never watched Demon Slayer, then you will understand the characters' motivations, what they want, why they're there, why they're doing what they're doing. And that's the main thing. You don't have to watch any before to enjoy this. I'd recommend that you do, because why the hell not, unless you literally have 1 second to get it in the cinema, because I'd take the cinema experience. But they do a good job with that. And in conclusion, I would say, if you're a fan of Demon Slayer generally, if you're a fan of anime, you're going to like this. It does what it says on the tin in that respect, in terms of anime tropes, keeping good, solid anime, as well as the animation being great and the score and everything like that. If you don't like anime, then you probably won't like this, because it does have all of those things in. But I don't know many people who actively don't like anime, so I can see why it's doing so well. Give it a watch, that'll be my recommendation, and try and get to the cinema if you can. But what did you think? Perhaps you thought, oh my goodness, it's not my cup of tea, I'm not a Demon Slayer fan, or maybe you just couldn't wait for it to come out like me. It met my expectations, but let me know below what you think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Your support is appreciated, and until next time, I'll see you later.